All right, Alex. Now at noon, it is time to Color It Blue. This is in support of those who have survived sexual assault and child abuse. Volunteer and advocate here with me, Amy Yao for Brave Step, joining us to talk much more about this. So thank you so much, Amy, for joining us. First, let's talk about Color It Blue. What is it?
What is it, other than the color blue,
yes.
right? Blue is the color of Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Child Abuse Prevention Month, which is this April. So Color It Blue is Brave Step, the organization I'm here representing, their response to kind of how we can advocate for survivors and their friends and family during the month of April. So we have lots of different programming. We give out bracelets. We ask people to paint their nails blue if they would like, and we are spreading awareness and advocacy in the community.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the organization you're with, Brave Step. So talk a little bit more about the organization and why it's so important, the work that you do, including this.
Yes, of course. So Brave Step is a wonderful local organization. It's local here to Charlotte, founded over 10 years ago to support survivors. So it kind of has 3 areas of focus. One is survivors. They offer different programming for them in the community, awareness, and then they also have therapy, group therapy, and peer support groups as well, which is how I'm involved. They also do support for loved ones and family members. The people supporting survivors deserve support as well. It's a tough job. So we support them, and then we also have different programming in the community, which is kind of what Brave Step Color It Blue falls into.
Awesome. We have some pictures here of folks that are getting their blue together. You mentioned Color It Blue, the variety of different ways that people can help. You also have the bracelets here. Also, I'm wearing right now a blue ribbon. So it's something as simple as this, just putting something on blue to help. So what are the different ways that people can join in on this effort?
Yes, so we always encourage people to do 2 things. One, wear blue, paint your nails blue, wear a ribbon, dress in blue, whatever you'd like to do. And also start conversations. It's really important to talk about this topic because it's really stigmatized. So the more we can talk about it, the more we can normalize it and allow for other survivors to get support and hopefully work upstream to prevent this from happening in the future.
One more thing you mentioned as well, I see here the list, Get Moving, as well as another option, a walk, something that people can do right now on their own all month long, or even together. Y'all are having an event for that as well.
Yes, on April 25th, we are having an in-person walk run, but throughout the month, there is a virtual rock run option as well. So I really encourage people to go to bravestep.org/coloritblue. That has all the information about both Color It Blue events throughout the year or throughout the month and this walk run. So in person, April 25th, come meet some amazing people, do that together, or do it virtually on your own.
An incredible effort here for sure. Very important. We have all that information for you as well on WBTV.com. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks.